Rockwell.
I'd like to know, are you really ready for some super dynamite soul? And thank you, because now it's start time.
There we go. Peace. This is DJ Rockwell, and you are?
Monica.
Live for episode 20 of the Rockwell Radio Show. Welcome. You know what I say, you know what I do. Every Saturday at 7 o'clock, we're live, and I asked you to do the same thing every week without fail. And let's do it again right here. Tag a friend. Because you know what time it is. Where's my mouse? Tag a friend. Because if you're watching on Facebook Live, hit that share button. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. As Willie D always says, smash the likes, and get the likes up. I am so excited today because we got a discussion that's going to be a brain buster. We got a discussion that's going to be, in some quarters, controversial. And sitting next to me, some of you know him. Some of you watched him grow up from a pipsqueak. Some of you have seen him since he was a little boy running around Miles 15 right here in Atlanta. This is my son right here, Sadiq Amir Muhammad, now known as the artist Monica. Tell him what you do, son.
I'm a multi-hyphenate artist. I do everything from visual art, concept art, animation, music production, multi-instrumentalism, poetry, and several forms of science.
And tell him how old you are.
I'm currently 19 years old.
19 years old. He's a Renaissance man. And tonight, he's going to be here on behalf of the so-called mumble rap generation. Tonight's conversation, by the way, is entitled Boom Bap to Mumble Rap. What happened? Where did it go? What happened to the game? It's been a huge conversation over the years. There's been a disdain from the golden era generation to his generation. And we have to mention the infamous letter from Willie Lynch. And it's the real reason behind this episode tonight. It's the real reason why we're having this dialogue. Shout out, by the way, to NY Hip Hop Network. Always supporting, always standing by. We have to figure out how to bridge the gap between the elder hip hop statesmen and the young guns coming on the scene today. Because if we don't figure out how to patch this hole, the whole culture is at stake. Tonight, our guests are going to be two men. One I'm going to introduce you now, and the other I'm going to introduce in just a second. Kool Kim is coming later on the show from the UMCs. Let's state that outright first. Kool Kim from the UMCs is in the building. But who I want to introduce you to right now, who will serve as somewhat as a referee, if you will. He's going to serve as a coach. He's going to help us keep things on track. Please welcome for the second time to the Rockwell Radio Show, my brother. He is a hip hop historian. He is not only a historian of the art and culture of hip hop, he is a writer of programs on the college level about this art we love. Please welcome to the Rockwell Radio Show for the second time, once again, my brother and yours, Anthony Muhammad, a.k.a. Brother A-Tone. Salute.
Peace, Brother Rockwell. How you doing?
Brother, welcome once again
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I tell you what, brother, I've been getting some interesting comments in preparation of tonight's conversation. Before we get and introduce our brother, Kool Kim, will you please lay the foundation of why you think this is a necessary dialogue tonight?
Well, anything that can help bring understanding to where we are in our culture that we call hip hop, and anything that can help us to bridge that gap that you mentioned,
right?
That makes the conversation important. So even if we get a little hickeys here and there, little bumps and bruises, because we might stub our toe or get some feelings hurt.
Right.
Even if that happens, we got to have a conversation, or else we're not going to be able to take it to the next level, which is to reconcile the gap.
Indeed. In fact, if I can be honest, my man right here, he was reluctant to have this conversation. Monica, tell him why.
Well, for lack of a fluffy answer, it's really just a very outdated conversation. More so, it feels as though it's a conversation had in place of a more necessary conversation of why, and it resonates more as an act of almost like futile lashing out rather than a want to reach a common ground, a necessary ground, which is why when I was talking to my father here about how this conversation should go and what point should be brought up, I recommended that this be more of a matter of reconciliation than anything, or at least a platform for proper conversation to be had, and not just blow for blows about whose generation is better, who does what better, because then it becomes a matter of pride, and pride and ego often get in the way of true resolution. So that is why I was reluctant to have this conversation at first, but I'm happy I'm here.
And I'm glad that you said that, because I want to assure you, and I want to assure the viewers tonight, that the conversation purpose is not one of an antagonistic spirit, Brother A-Tone. We're not here to beat them up. And hopefully they're not going to come on and beat us up. It is my understanding that Brother Kool Kim is going to have some youth with him to talk about their perspective as well. So again, I want to make sure everybody who is watching hit the like button, because we're live on the Rockwell Radio Show every Saturday. If you're watching on Facebook, hit the share button. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. Matter of fact, if you're watching right now, and I did the homework here, and I found out, Brother A-Tone, that most of the viewers of the Rockwell Radio Show come from my era, the boom bap era. So
right.
What I want you all to do right now, if you know somebody that's 30 or younger, tag them right now. And for you all in the comment section, if you know somebody that's 30 or younger, tag them, because we have to make this a joint dialogue. We're not here to blow up your spot. We're not here to put you down. We're not here to tell you how whack the music is.
You already starting off foul. We already off on the wrong foot.
We're not here to do that. We're here to talk about bridging a cultural gap. So, Brother A-Tone, what do you say in response to the reluctance?
Well, first thing is I'm impressed with Brother Sadiq's take on the conversation, because it's a sign of maturity. He mentioned reconciliation, and really he's reaching out in a more mature way than many from our own generation that we consider or whatnot. He's more mature in reaching out than we are. So I think what we have to do as elders, because I'm now 51 years old, and I first got introduced to hip hop culture by my uncle who was into funk music. And the thing that we have to understand as elders, we have to accept the responsibility for the gap that you talked about.
Right.
We got to accept that first. We can't lay there at the feet of our younger generation. We got to accept that, because we can say that we're not the cause of the gap. And the reason why I say that is because there's an industry aspect to what we're talking about. You mentioned culture, but there's an industry aspect of what we're talking about that has overtaken the cultural influence of the music, of the expressions. And in our youth, when we came up with hip hop, we were teenagers. Right. We were in high school. We were in junior high school or middle school. We were in art school. So we weren't really aware of what we were creating in the beginning culturally. But once the awareness set in and once the industry took note of the financial windfall from attaching themselves to our culture, then that's when the gap started to develop. And the reason why we have to take responsibility is because we should know better by now and look back and say, man, I dropped the ball. I dropped the ball.
Right. And that's going to be a major part of a dialogue is the act of passing the torch, what that means. Did we do so? Did we fail? Matter of fact, I meant to say, son, shout out to the producer of the show, my man, Big Dave C. No, excuse me. Matter of fact, from now on, it's now Big Loud Dave C. Big Loud Dave C. Who couldn't be in the studio tonight, but he is watching in support of the show. So I see our brother is in the building. I see our brother is in play in key, waiting to come on. So can we, before we bring in our guest tonight, we want everybody again, one more time, hit that like button, tag somebody, because this is bigger than hip hop. We are talking about passing on a culture. We're talking about keeping something alive. We're talking about closing a gap between the hip hop boom bap generation and the so-called mumble rap generation. So I want to bring to you a brother. He's a hip hop 90s veteran. Our brother came in the scene in 1991 with a hit called Blue Cheese. It was a #1 hit. Also with his #2 joint, One to Grow On, from the top 40 album, Fruits of Nature. Our brother is a youth mentor. He is a public speaker. He is an entrepreneur. He's the one that told all of y'all that y'all should get lynched. But before we bring our brother on, I want you to do the knowledge and listen to this history of our guest, Kool Kim. Watch this.
Up. That's just a comic book, especially when I pick up and start to teach my first lesson. Arithmetic, reading, and writing. Not too exciting. I pick up on teachings orchestrate at my kingdom, based upon the elements and lyrics I bring them. Stone by stone. But did you build it alone? No, Kim was prone to seek out alone. I apprehend my method. My method is apparent. I see clearly this world's transparent. So I'll reach down deep, deliver salvation to the hands of the weak, the meek, the mild. Then tame the wild. Cause that's how I'm styled. The wizard of rhyme. Need to get lynched. And all you cool ass rappers, y'all should all get lynched. And all you fake ass gangsters, y'all should all get lynched. Because Malcolm X died for you to act like this. And Martin Luther King died for you to act like this. And if you brag about killing your brothers, you bullshit.
soul controller. Raps the tracks like Tim's and toes, boats and hoes. I really only speak what I knows. Froze get flows, pros like 10 belows. Pimps get chose, opposed with a gun in they nose. And 52 caught 48 blows. 100% had to repent, and that's how the story goes. Death to death, defeated that and brought forth life. Long live life, eternal in the heart of the light. My name is NYOIL. If I failed to say, I'm also known by Kool Kim, and I was born that way.
Please welcome for the first time to the Rockwell radio show, our brother, 90s hip hop veteran, here to speak on from boom bap to mumble rap. Please welcome NYOIL, a.k.a. Kool Kim.
Yo, what's up, fam? How y'all feeling today? Yeah. Yes, people of the world. Yes, please applaud. Bow before your king, for I have come. Yo, I'm gonna tell y'all brothers right now, this is, one, thank you for having me on, all of that. I'm gonna tell you now, it's gonna be very difficult for me to keep a straight face throughout the course of this interview, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I got so many jokes that I gotta get back at Anthony K. Muhammad over the years.
Oh, so y'all got history.
Yeah, this dude has been my tormentor for years and years and years. And yeah, I finally got you cornered, you.
That kind of night, Brother Anthony.
Hey man, I gotta submit to this one. I didn't expect it. Here we go.
Yeah.
So just let me know when the duck down like this.
Right.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I don't know a lot of people in the music industry or anything like that. I'm a family man first and foremost, and I'm not really, I don't schmooze with people that, what I'm saying? Like, it's like just for the sake of it. Either my friend or you're not. So if you know me, you actually know me. So I know Anthony, what I'm saying? Although we haven't had the opportunity to be around each other consistently because we live in a digital age, but be that as it may, we got some good stories, some good jokes together, man. It's my guy right there. So I love that brother, man. I'm happy to see everybody's well. You heard? Real talk. How's the family? Yeah, man. How's the family and everybody doing, man?
Good. Everybody's good, man.
Grace, all is well. Matter of fact, Brother Kim, let me introduce you to my son. This is Sadiq Muhammad, a.k.a. Monica. He's a young and upcoming artist. And son, you're looking at hip-hop veteran right there, Kool Kim.
Yo, what's up, young man? How you feeling, Cat?
I'm feeling good. What about you, sir?
I'm maintaining. Hey, you know what I'm going to do? The conversation, what I would like for before we leave out of here, right, is that at the end, I want you to tell us whether or not we hit the mark, because we have to have a conversation that doesn't speak at you, you know what I'm saying, or even to you, but with you. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be a conversation where we listening to the stuff that you're saying and the insight that you're providing, so that we're able to have a conversation. You can't have a conversation if you're just going to lecture somebody, right? And so, I'm looking forward to getting your perspective. I do want to say before we begin is that my kids are supposed to be on here with me as well. Okay. And, I guess it's a good segue to what we would, well, I don't know, but this is a good segue at all. Actually, it's not. But, my kids, they're meant to be here right now. My daughter, unfortunately, just had a miscarriage today. Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? She's been trying to conceive for some time now, you know what I'm saying? And it's just been something that has eluded her with all the talents and beauty and intellect. It's just one of those things, man. There's so many challenges in the world for so many people, and the intensity of said challenge and the that struggle of getting through that challenge, because ultimately it's by themselves no matter what they do, is monumental, man. You know what I'm saying? And as a father, you watch that, and it manifests itself on multiple levels. In this case, it happens to be this one. But in other cases, it'll be something else that'll be just as impactful, you know what I'm saying, in either their lives or collectively in all our lives, you know what I'm saying? So, she was having that experience, and my oldest son is en route to New York take care of some stuff. So, you know, he's in a, you know, it's a lot of stuff just happened. So, you know, it is that way. I don't know where my youngest son is at right now. I think he's on his way. I see him messaging me, so I'm gonna have to check to see where he at. But hopefully they'll be here before it's too late. So my apologies, guys.
Oh, brother, no worries, man. Man, on behalf of the Rockwell Radio Show and all of our listeners, man, we send your family love and support, brother. And we thank you for being here, even in light of said event, brother.
Yeah, you know, I think it's important that if at all possible, even in the face of tragedy and, you know, sadness, it's important that we still commune and talk and build, because, you know, how we get through things like this is probably more important dialogue than anything else that I could share, you know what I'm saying? Because these are things that will happen to your listeners, you know what I mean, and to my fans and friends. And, you know, these are conversations that they're not hearing from their favorite rapper or their favorite internet personality, you know, where that person is having a very honest conversation about it. As a black man, as a grandfather and a black man, how am I coping with my daughter struggling with something that I'm absolutely helpless to help her with? You know what I'm saying? Like, how does that, you know what I mean? How do we be there for that? You know what I mean? How do you be there for a generation that has practices that are different than yours? And you trying to figure out how you could get them right knowledge in the midst of it. You know, these are the real conversations that we need to be having as a community. And so, you know, when the conversations are less than that caliber, you understand, it's disconcerting, and it shows that we really truly haven't matured as a community. And why would the kids ever listen to anything that we had to say if at the very least we can't even circle the wagons around one another in times of difficulty?
Brother, man, I couldn't say it better. I find that what some of the challenges that we have is relatability and respect. And that's what I want this conversation tonight to hinge on. So again, if you're watching, you tuned into the Rockwell Radio Show. Our guest is Kool Kim, a.k.a. NYOIL, and A-Tone, the hip-hop historian. And Brother Kim, I told A-Tone, and I said, brother, I want you to jump in, chime in, and be a part of the conversation, because
you know they say be careful what you wish for. That's all I'm saying. It ain't my fault. Whatever this dude does, it is not. I am not responsible. You know, Brother A-Tone, you know, you see how he's got a face for radio, and so this guy right here has really built a career. He really built a career.
That was one. I'm counting tonight.
Listen, no. Let me tell you something, y'all. Listen, all y'all watching. Anybody watching, there's absolutely no height that I can reach in terms of jabbing at A-Tone that's going to reach the torment that this man is responsible for. Well, let me just tell you what happened real fast before we get stuck on this. Okay. You know, one time out of the kindness and goodness of my revolutionary heart, I came to an event that was going on that A-Tone had something to do with. And it just so happened that my dear loving wife, who at the time of family of limited means, you know, we wasn't getting no big bread from these record labels. You know, this establishment was keeping everything from, we didn't have a lot. All right. And so, you know, I needed a bag to you know, the grill on the spur. Right. So my wife in a rush, trying to just make sure that the need was met, gave me a bag. And it just so happened to be my daughter's bag. It was pink. It had flowers. It was nice, though.
Had wheels on it.
And it had wheels.
Right.
The things that A-Tone said to me in the public forum, while I was with that bag, are unforgivable, all right?
Yeah, it was revolutionary.
It's gonna be that kind of night. Well, I tell you what, A-Tone, let's set the stage right now. Let's set the stage right now. Sadiq, Brother Kim, and A-Tone. I was gonna do something for an icebreaker, but it looks like I might not have to do it because
yeah, it's necessary. We just jump right in it.
The ice is broke, man. The ice is broke.
Right.
Yeah. This is the fam that, you know, talk to in 6 years, but when you get on the phone, it's like y'all been Like you just spoke last week, like, like, yo, I'm cat's been hanging out for years. Like, nah, this is my man.
We're gonna run through an exercise, bro.
Okay.
This is a game/test. And again, the idea is relatability. They can't relate to us, and we can't relate to them. We don't know who their heroes are, and they have no damn clue who our heroes are. So this time for this test, and we want all of you out there in Rockwell Radio Land that's watching us, as we want y'all to be participants in the chat room. If you know the answer to the question, respond in the chat. So right now, we're going to play a little game. I'm going to put an artist picture on the screen, and you have to successfully name that artist.
Oh, we done for already. I'm going to tell you right now, I lost. I'm done for. Don't put me on. Don't put me in, coach.
And A-Tone, this is on YouTube. For you in the chat room, this is on YouTube.
Oh man, this is gonna be bad. I'm gonna look like a real loudmouth hypocrite when my ignorance of people's names start manifesting. They're gonna be like, "Oh, who is he to be saying stuff? He don't know nobody's name."
And if you get it right, you hear this. If you get it wrong, you hear this. Here's the first one, and these are all like big names that are 2020, 2021 artists that our children know from a mile away. But our generation, like, who? Here's artist number one. Hey, Tony and Kool Kim, who's this?
21 Savage.
See, you're not as bad as you thought. You're not as bad. See, he nailed that one on the first one.
I nailed that with one note.
He nailed that easily. Okay. Here's artist number two.
That's Lil
Extentacion.
No, it's not Extentacion. That is no, it's not. It's not X. That's not X. That is
The nigga's clowning y'all. What's that?
At least I knew that name.
Nah. That's little. He do this shit with. Excuse me. We do this thing with his shoulders. Little. I can't think of his name, man. Some little something. Damn, man. He just got the vision thing in his forehead. I just can't think of it. What his coach's name is right now.
Sadiq, tell him who it is.
That's Rihanna.
What? Tell him who it is.
That's Juice WRLD. That's Juice WRLD.
That's Juice WRLD. And Juice WRLD is right now.
That's Juice WRLD.
Considering his passing last year,
that's right. He passed away. Rest in peace.
Majority of his releases have been posthumous. So currently, his posthumous album, which I am currently drawing a blank on the name of, is out right now. It's top the charts.
All right. Okay. Back to that.
Number three. Who is this?
Pop Smoke. Whoa. Pop Smoke. Baby.
You got 2 out of 3, brother.
Lower your tone.
You know more.
I don't know anything, brother. I don't know nothing.
And I'm a hip hop historian.
That's right.
I'm Kool Kim, the hip hop historian.
Kool Kim.
We got Scott Free playing in the chat room. What up, Big Scott?
Scott.
Let's go to number 4. Brothers, who is this artist?
Oh, that's Extentacion.
Yeah, that's Extentacion.
There you go.
Yeah, I said it earlier. I just felt him coming.
Moonlight, boy, what's true? Moonlight. Moonlight. You know what I'm saying? That's my joint right there.
You know these cats, man.
Yeah, man. Why you front like you didn't know them? What's that about?
Nah, I mean, because there's a lot of cats, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of cats. You start getting in them little dirks and the little boop baps. I'm gonna be going like, yo, son, I don't know who Scrams is. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? You get too deep into it, I ain't gonna know.
Let's keep it rolling real quick. Gentlemen, who is this rapper?
That's little man. He got like there's like 3 people with the same name. What's my man name? Little baby.
Woo!
Hey man,
Son,
I'm getting smoked. I don't know.
That's right?
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah, you got the smell. Yeah.
and that's the New York dude knowing these cats.
Is my stock rising? Am I looking good? I'm looking like yo. Because you know, think about it. No matter, you know how some people like, it's like you won't listen to somebody unless they absolutely super famous, or now you won't listen to them because they so famous and you riding them. And then there's people that's like, nah, son, know what you talking about. Hold up, he actually know about this music.
Right.
I may not be quite at the super famous level, but I sure am the cat that know what he's talking about though. Cause like I be watching, I know what's up.
Come on, man. Let's keep it moving. We only got a few more to go.
Okay.
Now this could be an easy one. Tone. Matter of fact, Tone, this one is for you. Who's this dude, man?
That looks like Lil. I want to say Dirt, but
no, Lil Baby, bro.
Lil Baby, okay. Lil something.
Supposed to know, that's baby. That's baby, right? You're supposed to know from the smile, Paul.
Lil Baby, all right.
And you know why he's smiling?
Look,
right?
I do know this. He took his grill out, right?
You know what I'm saying, but you know why he's smiling in those pictures, right?
Why is that?
Why?
Because he figured how to make $1 million off of making the same song every. He's doing this. It's the exact same song every song. I feel like that's the same pocket every song. Yo, we brilliant though. Yo, I'm not dissing him. We brilliant.
We got my man, brother Joseph in the house. Peace, salute. Yusef in the building. Big Marvin in the building.
The baby, not Lil Baby, the baby. He's right.
Baby. I'm like a fish out of water right now, man. I'm gasping for air. I'm drowning. I'm drowning in the air right now.
All right, A-Tone. And again, so right now we're repping on behalf of their generation. We're gonna throw you a softball.
I'm done.
A-Tone, we're gonna throw you a softball.
Please. I mean, NYOIL is killing me right now.
Yeah.
Who is this?
That's Lil Yachi right now, man.
Yeah, come on, man. I was about to say that. Lil Yachty, not Yachi. Yachty. Say it right. Say it right, Kim. Yachty, not Yachi.
Are you gonna correct my pronunciation?
Yeah, that's right. It's Yachty, not Yachi.
No. Now you showing your age. You over there talking about Yahtzee. It's like, hey, little Yahtzee. Don't scream Yahtzee. Helen, bring me some Velta milk. It's Yahtzee. It's little Yahtzee. It's like, no. Don't try to turn into an old Jewish man. Get him right.
It's how you said Chachi. You know, like Chachi. You know?
Little Chachi, little Joni and Chachi. Little Joni and Chachi from Happy Days. Oh, my God.
So, our guest just proved, or maybe he's just a wild exception, that he knows your generation.
Yeah, because we ain't even talking about my dude like OG Mako and stuff like that. Like that's some of the other stuff we ain't talking about. We're not talking about, you know what I mean? We're not talking about, man, there's a lot of cats that's just dope that you're not really hearing. I happen to personally like OGG. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of these cats that I don't have a chip on my shoulder against young people making music.
Come on,
I adore young people. I love young people, man. I love young people energy because in my spirit, it's the same energy. And I know they I know what a young person after, like I'm really in tune with it. And so I'm not really, my first go-to ain't to hate. Now, if we talk as an artist, you know, if we're talking as an artist, now I'm an artist. Now, if I'm talking to your son, I'm sorry, what's your name again? What's your name that you gave yourself?
Moniker.
All right, so if I'm like, yo, Monica, check it out. You know, we vibing, and you letting me hear your music or music that influences you. Now, I may make an assessment on that music that's like, nah, that's whack. That's not going to build your lyrical castle as an artist. It's not going to help. It's not going to give you building blocks. Now, you may translate it, you hating in our style of music. No, it's not that. What I'm telling you is as an artist, from a fundamental perspective, that music is not going to help you build what you're trying to build. Like if you want to get out in front of these young people, my assessment as an artist, an older artist would be like, all right, well, let's listen to this music. Let's dissect it to understand what it does. And then let's, master it beyond it. So like when I hear now music, right, it's, it's like 1, 2, 3. Come on, man. What does that start sounding like? It starts sounding like African drum rhythms, right?
Come
on,
what
man. I mean? It starts boom pa. You mean to tell me these kids have genetic memory like that? Like their genetic memory is so powerful that they remanifest the music that their parents created, and then somehow or another managed to tap in. You know what I mean? Because that was what was left for them, to tap into African rhythms, ancient drums. Yo, in DC, this is how powerful this is, and I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. But in DC, right, it used to always be a fight at the go-go, right? I don't care if it was the shorty that had the go-go with their little junkyard band, or if it was a larger established group. And what they had found, or what some people were saying about why this was happening every time at a certain point in the go-go, it would happen, is because they had a thing called the pocket, the wocket, and the socket. You heard? These are 3 different drum rhythms that they go into to hold tempo and beat and a certain a feel for the crowd. So they may be like, that's the cool out pocket. That's the socket, right? They just right. When they go to rock it, right? It's like and it's just rocking. It's like bang, 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 bang. You know what I mean? And you're like, woo! This joint is kicking. And that's that pocket. So when they're in that pocket, right? That's when the fights happen. Come to find out, it's been alleged, at least, that those drums are African war drums. So you wonder why the kids is in the thing fighting. It's because they're hearing war drums in the music, and they having a genetic response. The genetic memory in their response is causing them to wow out. Now, that's, you know what I mean? So what I'm saying is that these things, these kids in today, if we're going to be real hip hoppers that are really about lyrics and really about flow and cadence, we have to be honest and give these kids their flowers and tell them that they be proud of them for the things that they're doing. That's my opinion personally.
Shout out to MC Apocalypse. He's from DC. He knows about the go-go.
Yeah. You're ready.
You know all about it.
CCB.
Let's dive into some questions here. Man, wow. I can't believe that it's what time it is.
Yeah, I know, right? We've been through it.
Let's jump in real quick. We'll start here. Let's lay a foundation, Big Kim, and first talk about the era that we come from. You kind of been doing that already the whole show, really. Briefly describe the musical environment that produced you and that produced the UMCs. So give us a moment to paint a picture of Staten Island in 88, 89, 90, 91.
The year was 1988. There was an island, a small island. Some might even call it an archipelago, but it was what makes me musically? When I think of what makes me musically, I think of, baby, we can do it. Take your time, do it right. We can do it, babe. You know what I mean? Like, I think of, when I think of who made me musically, I'm thinking of,
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Like that, how that felt. Like, I can't tell you a song. I gotta sound out a rhythm and a vibe, because what makes me is a vibe. You understand? Not a particular academia or viewpoint or even geographical location. What makes me is a particular. I'm a vibe more than anything else. So sometimes it's hard to find your tribe when you a vibe.
Right.
You know, some of y'all be like y'all dope, but it's like you almost feel like you're not dope because you're around a bunch of cats that it's like they not dope like you. So it's like your dopeness is wasted. That's when you a vibe. You need to find a vibe that suits who you are. I'm that person. Someone that there's so many things. You know, I grew up at a time when everybody had a band. So everybody had a band named Phase 2. Everybody had a band named Phase 2. If you didn't grow up in the inner city, if you didn't, somebody you knew, you didn't have a cousin that could play sax or the guitar and was in a band named Phase 2. You know, if you didn't have somebody like that in your life, was you really living, yo? Like that's like these are things that influence my life. But and then also you got to keep in mind that, you know, it's not the music that's influencing, like, because again, that's the academia, what I've heard and how that influences my cadences. You know, if we talk about cadences and flows, you're talking about Super Lover C, Casanova Rudd. We're talking about, you know, Eric Sermon, you know what I mean? Like Super Lover C, Casanova Rudd said, girls, I got them locked so similar to a prison. In my awesome jam that is causing me favoritism. That's every rhyme right now, you know, every rhyme that you're listening to right now finds its origin point somewhere in there. You understand what I'm saying? Like if you follow its genealogy enough, I'm sure you would find that a lot of rhymes start at that. Girls, I got them locked. So, and then Paris said, I keep the hands clapping, fingers tapping, feet tapping, no, fingers snapping, feet tapping. When it's time to roll, who's in control, who's rapping. I remember hearing how I keep your hands clapping, fingers tapping, feet snapping. You know that when the time to roll, who's in rapping. Like that's that cadence. Yeah, that cadence is disgusting. You know, I think about now when I start thinking lyrically, I think of Rakim and him literally giving a blueprint at such a high level that he made me realize that I was a genius. And that's the thing that I think that a lot of young artists don't realize. Like they haven't been exposed to the fact that when you MC, you're a genius. You show genius level skill sets.
Say that part.
You know,
right.
That is I call it syllabolic math or syllabolic arithmetic. What does that mean? You have the capacity to take syllables and sentences. What are syllables? Those are the vowel points in a word that are sounded out. You know what I'm saying? So cat has one syllable. Catastrophe has 3 syllables. Catastrophe, 4 syllables. You understand? Knowing how to split the syllables up, right? So that those syllables drop in beats of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. Maybe, baby, you thinking you crazy lady, you not. Busting at your snot box, rock, not sweet top shot. That's a beats like chop shots, we high for the top spot. Break, dance, pop, lock, boogie to your drawers drop. Committing crimes of passion, rapping my fashion flavor, dashing, jolly good, smashing. See me at the video music awards and I'm laughing. Heard you been asking for the cat. All this is my cadences just falling into this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So, you know,
the brother is giving y'all the mechanics of rap right now on the Rockwell Radio.
Yeah.
Let me give you a hand for that, brother.
Yeah. A lot of people don't really understand this. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, and so it's like catching a ball. When you catch a ball, right? If you could take a kid, you know, it's like athletes are dumb, jocks are dumb. It's like, no, they're not. If you take a kid and you say, yo, if I give you the mathematical formula for the trajectory of a ball floating in the air, you know that this person, the quarterback, is making all these computations. Not only how hard he's going to throw, he's dealing with the wind velocity. He's thinking for protect, but you know, I mean, shit. He's even accommodating for the curvature of the earth when he throws a ball at a certain distance. He's considering what's coming at the person that's running at him. He's considering with the angle of attack from the lineman. You know what I'm saying? The defensive lineman is coming to take his head off. He's got to consider 3 or 4 routes that are being run and know that all 4 of those routes are running, be able on a split second to identify which route has been ran successfully and then target that route, not where it's at, but where it's going. And then the person catching the ball has got to adjust the speed. He's got to adjust the wind variance. He's got to adjust for rotation of the ball. He's got to adjust to weather. He's got to adjust the coverage, the variable of coverage, because it could be anybody on him at that time. All these adjustments, if I sat down and gave you a mathematical formula to try to solve what that adjustment, the location of that place where the ball would land, so that you could catch it at the tips of your finger as you dive into the thing, you could never figure that out. And yet, and still every day, we watch people do that instinctively on television.
Listen.
All that to say is recognize your genius. Don't wait for somebody else to say that what you're doing is genius. Take a time to deconstruct what it is that you are great at and find your genius. Believe in yourself, believe in the power what you're doing, the monumental value of it, and then it will guide you. Because when you know that there's no such thing as a top 5 rapper, and all you rapping dudes out here been talking about top 5 rappers or GOATs, which is the biggest disrespect that you can do in hip hop, call somebody the GOAT.
Hold on, pause right there. Pause right there. Somebody in the chat room literally just asked that question. Ask Brother Kim who is top 5 are.
Yeah, so, Vaughn, what up, brother?
That's not a valid question. And if so,
it's not that it's not a valid question. You know what I mean? Like in the course of conversation and discussion, everything is valid. We talking, we friends, and we having a conversation. We brothers. So every conversation is worthy of at least some sort of engagement. The reason why, but the engagement for me is this: I don't think that's a good practice. Hip hop is not Pokemon. Hip hop is not Digimon. It's not Shadow. Card. You know what I mean? It's not a card-based game, a turn-based RPG, MMORPG. It's not that. Hip-hop isn't a sport. Hip-hop is a form of art. You understand? Somebody said one time to you, standing by the speaker, suddenly I had this. Fever wasn't either, neither. Summer madness. And I just can't stand around. So the closer I get, the better it sounds. My mind starts to activate, dream and imagining. When I heard the beat, I just had to make something from the top of my head. So I fell into the groove of the wax. And I said, how can I move the crowd? First of all, there's no mistakes. Are you kidding me? How do you call anybody a GOAT when somebody is saying that in this world? How do you call somebody a GOAT when someone like Slick Rick says, well, I was sitting on my lunch break, grinning my teeth, the last day of the week, boy, what a relief. My muscles kind of ached. They felt rigid and stiff. So I looked around. Then I smoked this big fat spliff. Now I'm happy as can be. I'm in this wild head spell. I put the breakfast in the mouth so that my mouth don't smell. It's 12:55, almost time for the bell. Put the vines in my eyes so that the world can tell. Now back on the job, I don't bother no one. I keep strictly to myself and all my work gets done. Now the job's finally over, it's time to have fun. And I'm hanging out with Jeff and Vance to get things done. Got me drunker than the skunk and happy as can be. We went to the Latin quarters and we got in free. Scooping all the girls I done it with my fly jewelry, cause I'm a fly brown brother and they can't school me. Boogie Down was for what? He's giving you a moment that if you live this, you see it. You see it vividly.
Put him in the chat room. If you know
see this,
put him in there.
You see everything I'm saying so vividly right now. Brace yourself for the awesome and rare, the bitter right. Dynamite is in the atmosphere. If there's a time and place for everything that's under the sun, this is the time and place that we have some fun. And while you saying have some fun, you hear are you kidding me? Like here's and I'm gonna tell you something. This is for the younger generation. I think what it is with us sometimes when you're talking nostalgia, you know, you're talking at the time when the elders are young. So you're talking to me about the time when I was your age. I'm young, I'm fly, ladies. You can't tell me nothing about that time. Why? Because that was the height of my life. I was super dope. I was a kid. We were creating something so new and different. And the odds for us were different than for y'all because for us, our parents came from scatting. So, you know, you got parents that's coming from doo-wop, you know, shoo-wop, wop, wop, shoo-wop, wop, wop, like that, they coming from that. So us jumping on the mic talking about, hey, yo, hip hop, you hip it to the, like that's nuts to them. Like it's just such a leap. Y'all come from a generation that, truthfully, depending on what the fashion is that year, you could go into your dad's closet and wear something. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and be on the street and look official, because whatever he wearing is probably what everybody else wearing, unless it's too skinny for his thighs. You know what I mean? So it's a big difference when you come from a generation that has no connection to this new thing that you're making, versus come from a generation where, yo, your parents are literally serving this music up to you on a platter. And I think that even though sometimes it feels like the parents are bullying on you or barking on us or disrespecting, you know, your movement, you have to consider that it's like, to me, it's not the same as, like, you can't look at it as parent to child. You got to look at it as if you was on the PS5 or PS4, whatever you got in the house, and you was in the middle playing like Zelda or something like that. You done got yourself all the way up to like the last boss. You in the last dungeon. It's about to go down. You done earned up the metal boots, the shield, the freaking battery, the boomerang, and you got the little chain thing. You got the whole everything. You done equipped. You done did the special side quest and everything. You got the little magic running thing. You got it all. And as you get up to go, your little brother runs in the room and be like, yo, let me play your game. Let me play. Like, I just want, let me get a man. And you like, no, my man, like you about to mess it up. You're going to be giving some mad instructions so you don't mess up your progress. All that grinding you did on the gain levels, all that stuff like that. You're not going to just come up off of that. You're going to protect it, what we say, vehemently. You know what I'm saying? And so I want the young people to understand that.
You got to go to the next question real fast. I had to jump in because, yo,
I know, right?
We're down to the last couple of minutes, man.
You know, you gotta really pull things out of Kool Kim, man. You got to do that, because otherwise you won't get anything.
Yeah. You know, I'm not much of a talker.
Let's do this, Kim. I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit because a lot of the questions I was going to ask you touched on them a little bit.
Yeah, that was my plan, because I know I was going to talk too long, so I figured I would answer all your questions before you asked them.
You must got my nose, bro. But listen to this real quick. I learned something that we got in common. Yo, we both have history in mentorship with youth.
Yes.
I was a 10-year mentor of the junior FOI here in Atlanta, Georgia. And loved every minute of that. And obviously you have history as a youth mentor as well. And I think part of the gap that we're talking about in hip hop comes because we're not doing this. We're not saying, hey, come on, check this out. So the question is, tell us a little bit about PMG. What is it? What is its history? And tell us a bit about what that was.
Okay, briefly, because our time is short, and just let me just say to everybody listening, yo, I swear if it was another scenario, I would love this. We'd be, A-Tone will tell you, I'd be on here 2-3 hours just rambling. You heard? I do have another podcast panel thing I'm doing, and I'm talking about sex, which is really compelling. So at that with that, so I am gonna die, but before I dip, I want to make sure I at least get some, and then I would really let it come back, man, because this is a level of conversations that I like having. I don't be want to talk the same thing every time you talk to somebody. It's the same question. It's like, yo, how many people? Like, yo, my man, how many same questions? And like we having a real discussion about it, so it elicits more learning and horizon expansion. With that being said, PEMG, Persistent Engagement Makes Greatness, or Petroleum Empire Media Group, which was a twist on the words NYOIL, New York Empire, oil, petroleum, so Petroleum Empire was reversed, you know what I mean? It was basically a youth mentoring program that I built around my 3 kids, Bilal, Shanae, and Todd, to give them something as a means to bridging them into a new school. We had just moved back from Maryland to New York, and so the transition was difficult, and I figured that hip-hop would be a great means to do that for them and also engage the community, because as NYOIL, I have found myself going to these different speaking engagements. Tone could tell you, panels and all of that. And, I found myself getting to a point where I was turned off of that. It's not what I wanted to be a part of, because we give people applause lines, and people need practical application, practically applicable information. They don't need a bunch of applause lines where at the end of everything they say, you like, yeah, right on, brother, come on, teach up. That's right. Hello. Come on now, brother. Like that's inappropriate when we are discussing the real time issues that our people are facing. And those real time issues require real expertise, not, fanfare, not popularity contests, but really looking at people and saying, that brother did 10 years, working with young people in the FOI. He's somebody that can give me a comprehensive viewpoint at the challenges that he faced or I may face moving forward as I endeavor to engage the young people. I don't call up Snoop and because everybody gonna want to see him. That's not because I need to, what we have to start understanding is, Black people deal with a lot of the things we do from the promotional peacock level. Like we look at everything. If it's not something that like, yo, you gotta be out, you gotta look as if you gotta do all this stuff to look good. Versus being like, yo, we're not dealing with stuff from a fundamental viewpoint, which is like, yo, can he do it? Is he capable? Does he have the skill set? And so what we would do is we would give the kids challenges. Like they'd have to go and sing on the street and make $50, or they'd have to go sell water and make, you had to make $50. Now, $50 really didn't mean nothing about nothing. It wasn't nothing really. You know what I'm saying? Usually that might be spent on pizza for them later on that day. What it was is really about, yo, you got to show me that you want this. Like, I'm not just giving this to you. I'm not just blessing you like that. So as much as we need to reach our hands across and hug on the youth them and tell them that they safe and that we got their back and we rolling with them, we need to at the same time have standards and criteria so that they know that, yeah, we want to bang with you. We got love for you. And if you do what you're supposed to do, I'm going to bang with you. But if you're not, if you don't have humility, if you don't be respectful, if you don't know how to conduct yourself. Y'all, all right, real quick. I remember I watched this kung fu movie, right? And in the kung fu movie, the kids go through this like a whole way, like a gauntlet. They got to go through this house of traps and maze and stuff like that, trying to thin out the herd of people that wanted to get taught by this great kung fu master, right? And so, 100 kids went through, maybe at the other side, 20 of them came out. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow. You know what I mean? They all assembled in the courtyard. And, the servants come out as they're sitting waiting for the master, the teacher, the senpai, Sifu to come out. He comes out after the servants pour tea for everybody. He comes out and the dude comes over and pours the tea for him. As the dude's pouring the tea for him, you see some of the kids is drinking the tea. You know what I'm saying? After that experience, drinking the tea. He's looking around and there's just one kid that's just sitting there with the tea. He's just in his cup. He's just sitting there and he's looking at the master. You know what I mean? The master observes him, keeps looking around the stage, you know what I mean? And then the master drinks his tea. Puts his cup down. After he drinks his tea, puts his cup down, the little kid that had been watching him, he picks his tea up. He drinks, he puts his cup down. The master looks at all of them, he says, all of you, go home. You're no good. Tell your parents that you failed. You know what I'm saying? I know why you laughing right now. Tell them they're no good. Chin low. It's not fair, huh? No, brother, you're no good. But so he tells them, send them home. You all failed. Tell them that you have no manners. So they all got thrown out. You know what I mean? Now, if you own a school, you want as many kids as you can enroll because that's your money, right? But the integrity for what he was teaching and passing on was such that, these young people have to qualify to be able to access this good learning, because we know that when the student is ready, the teacher will come. So, we do want to reach out and hug the youth, and we want to bring them closer, and we want to be accepting. I am that because I know all my music. I took the time to show, and I regard myself as ignorant as far as what's out now. Because there's mad people got stuff out that I don't know what their names is, but I be knowing about it, but I just don't know them. My point being is, I'm a qualified teacher. I'm a qualified individual because I did this. I have 2 careers. I came out as Kool Kim from the UMCs. I managed to reinvent myself as somebody at the entirely opposite end of the spectrum, NYOIL. Such so that I caused other rappers that gave up on it, thought they could never make it anymore in this thing, started picking up their mic again and believing in themselves and believing in the possibility. This is a fact. You heard? I'm not saying this to make myself seem big. I'm saying that this is the quality and quantity of man that I am. These are the things that I've accomplished in my life. Whether or not they're the biggest things that ever happened, they're real. And because I know that they're real and I know I have actual something to offer because I value my intellect and my experience, I'm not giving it to just any kid. I won't even give it to my own kids when I don't feel like their representation of what it is that I have to offer is significant. But when I do give it to them, we go all in, and I'm a great friend indeed. You dig? So, that's the thing. But young people gotta, we can't just give, we're at this place where we have to have a balance. There's points where we gotta give the young people without any expectation or, nah, you ain't doing what I need you to do, so I ain't doing that for you. Some of it is gotta be I'm gonna give that to them because they need to even experience this beauty that I have of my support. They need to experience it so when I take it away, they have a sense of loss. Because some kids, they're so lost that there's no point in even punishing them for their misdeeds. It's you got to first give them love so that they can, gain some sense of what's good in the world. And then you can start giving them a morality over top of that. And that doesn't,
You just struck a thought, matter of fact. And we're at the end of the show. And I want to do a final round with this very important topic that's going to try to summarize what we're here for today. I'm sure you don't remember this. You and I met in 2009, Kim. You were at Savior's Day in Chicago.
Okay.
And you spoke
in full afro. He was in full afro.
Back when I had hair, yes.
And an interview you did with one of our brothers immediately after you left that panel. This is you in 2009.
We're here with NYOIL here at Savior's Day 2009. NY, you sat on a panel yesterday,
yes, sir,
dealing with the role of Islam in hip-hop. I want to just give you an overview on that.
Well, of course, my experiences with Islam and hip-hop have been similar to many other hip-hoppers in that many of the artists that I've grown to admire and respect were integrating different aspects of Islam. Islam was almost like it was like a level of hip, like it was a level of cool. Before you really talked about the details of a car or the details of your chain, to have that detailed knowledge itself was something that was an important component of hip hop.
You see that boy? You see how I turned him out? I killed him at that. I killed them that year because I was coming with the suits and the bow ties on y'all. Y'all ain't know what to do. Y'all was like, yo, is this the new look? You could get an afro now on the NY?
I got a crispy bow tie for you, brother. I got a crispy bow tie for you.
Good. I need
that one was in the lead and rest. That tie was in the lead and rest when you had on there.
I'm about to do it because I'm doing the work of the people. I'm out in the streets doing the hard work, brother. Sometimes your bow tie gonna leave when you're doing the hard work, brother. All right.
Here's the question. That was the hit back. I love it. Here's the questions for everybody on the books right here. Everybody at the show. And if you're still watching, you are tuned in to the Rockwell Radio Show. Our guests have been A-Tone, the hip hop historian, and our brother Kool Kim, NYOIL. In 2007, correct me if I'm wrong, you hit us with Y'all Should All Get Lynched. Is that the correct year?
Yes, you hit it right on the head. Y'all Should All Get Lynched, and then followed by that I did
Underground. Where is that sentiment today, and why don't we have that same kind of energy in the culture with their generation? I want to start with A-Tone,
Go ahead.
I want to come to Sadiq and Kim. I'm gonna give you the last word of the show.
Awesome.
Please repeat that question one more time.
The question again is, how come we don't have a Y'all Should All Get Lynched in 2021? And give that some context. We're in the era of George Floyd. It's more needed now than ever. Where are the artists from his generation with that message? Have they distanced themselves from that message? Do you think it's corny? So I'm giving you all a body here to build from. So I'm gonna touch with A-Tone, Sadiq, and close out with Kim.
Well, I can't really speak for this generation, but I'll say that it's out there. I do know it's out there. Just because we don't hear it or it's as prevalent as we think it should be, doesn't mean it's not out there. I believe Kool Kim was blessed to have an animated version of that song on BET. And that really, you know, Kool Kim can speak to that, of the hard work and effort that it took to make that happen. But that's part of the reason I felt like it was an overwhelming success when he first came out with that. And I think that if we're able to share avenues with young people that have that message and give them platforms to promote that message, then we'll see them. So part of the reason is you know, if we find people with that message, we got to support them and put them out there. So I think that they're just hidden.
Sadiq?
Well, to touch on what Brother A-Tone said, I would have to directly agree with him, and because this is a generation I belong to, I can say for a fact that it's there. And it's not untouched or hidden at all. Actually, I can give you several examples. We have Denzel Curry. Majority of his album, Taboo, was regarding things in the current worldview today that plague my generation and generations prior to mine. And it touches on it in a very deep and personal way. We, to touch more specifically on situations more prevalent to Y'all Should All Get Lynched. We had, a few years back, MF Doom, DJ Muggs, and Freddie Gibbs released a track called Death Wish, where in the music video, they was killing George Zimmerman. Its message has not gone anywhere. And I feel that the idea of why it isn't as popular is sort of farcical, because the idea of popularity has changed so much. Everybody's a superstar. No, there's no need to have the labels and the large numbers backing you to say that it's out there and to say that it's prevalent. These things have not gone anywhere, and they will never go anywhere. Especially considering the inspiration that we have in our current day. There is no reason that this music has ever gone anywhere. Just because it's not in your face as much as anything else was, or as anything else is nowadays, does not mean that it does not exist.
Sure. Okay. Brother Kim, you got the final word.
All right, so Sadiq, rock with me on this one real quick while we prepare to wrap it up.
Yes, sir.
You see the need for that kind of music. There's a need for it. There is a backdrop for it, right? Like it exists. The conditions for that kind of music exist in your generation now, right?
Yes, sir.
And the fact is that there is music being made like that. There are artists, shoot, J. Cole, Kendrick, like these are good. They're talking about things that are socially relevant, and I'm giving you the larger names, not the ones that you generally don't hear from because you ain't really listening. And we was just posting pictures of the top names, so surely you're not gonna know about, Sith. You know what I mean? You're not going to know about, Young Ultra, the Buddha God. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to know about artists that do certain stuff that's like, yo, these cats is nice. You ain't even never heard of these cats. Because you, just like the same way when NYOIL was come out with music and made songs that was, to me, in my opinion, and I'm hard-pressed to find somebody that can say otherwise, is Y'all Should All Get Lynched was one of the hardest, most blatant quote unquote conscious revolutionary songs in the world. And all I got for my trouble was used by the conscious community. All I got for my trouble was overlooked by all the communities and what little bit of infrastructure Black revolution and Black liberation organizations have. I was overlooked. And matter of fact, if you talk to people about conscious music today, you will see most people won't even talk about NYOIL as somebody that they won't even really know. But they'll know, but they won't know. Why? Because the very conscious community that I single-handedly helped reignite. Not to say that people weren't conscious or wasn't making conscious music. You had Brother Ali out there. Paris was still out there. Wise Intelligence was still making music. Dead Prez is still making music. I'm not saying these brothers wasn't existing, but Kool Kim, a.k.a. NYOIL, came through and said something ridiculous. Now, how does that answer the question? I say I'm going on this like personal rant about how I've been done wrong. No, it's not that, fam. What I'm trying to explain to you is this. What I'm trying to emphasize is, what do you expect from Sadiq and his peer group? What do you expect from my kids and their peer group? If they literally bear witness, they saw the youth of PEMG on Staten Island, New York. Now, I was influencing literally hundreds of young people. They bore witness to the depth of difficulty it was for me to get them any kind of shot. And I mean, we worked our butts off. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not a violent dude to go to violence as a means of making a point. But I would get in the ring with anybody. If you say, yo, put Sif up against, I bet you Sif couldn't make it up against so-and-so. I say, yo, you put him up against anybody. And if I lose, I jump in the ring with Mike Tyson with one hand tied behind my back. You heard? Because that's how confident I am in this kid. And I would really do that. You heard? You know what I'm saying? Because that's how powerful this kid's lyrics is disgusting. You know what I'm saying? And, people passed on him like they didn't even give him a chance. They wouldn't even listen. They wouldn't show them no love. All these people that claim to be conscious, I'm sure you've interviewed, all these people that claim to be about this life and about supporting these young people, all about this purist hip hop and boom bap and all of this. They're full of SH. You know what in the third? They're liars. They're not real. It's not real because I put it to the test. So when you ask, where is the NYOIL? Where is the Y'all Should All Get Lynched? Well, where is the NYOIL? Where is the Y'all Should All Get Lynched? Where is the UMCs? UMCs, who was a group that was showing mad love, was dignified and something that you could let your moms hear that. And UMCs inspired Kanye West. You ever hear the interview where he talking to Sway? He's like, yo, I had money for one tape, and it was going to either be Blue UMCs or it was going to be Pete Rock CL Smooth, and I got that UMCs. You understand? And I found out a way to give me that Pete Rock too, but I got that UMCs. That's how powerful UMCs is. Brother Lord Jamal, who I got mad respect for, and he did the right thing, called me up and worked it out. But I'm saying just recently, brother didn't even know to say our name as the first rappers out of Staten Island when we was doing legitimate work. But Kool Kim was doing, NYOIL was doing legitimate work in the community. You cannot tell people, you can't tell, like, yo, people want to be doctors because doctors get paid, they get rewarded for their efforts. People want to be lawyers because lawyers get paid, they get rewarded for their efforts. People want to be crack dealers and drug dealers or whatever because they get paid and they get rewarded for their efforts. You can't keep telling people to do the positive thing, to do the righteous thing, to stand up and be brave in the face of an industry that has crushed black men and black finances and the potential for black wealth, the transference of black wealth. You can't tell somebody to go out there and face the slings and arrows of outrageous racism and then turn around, not give them any support, and then be stunned when the youth is like, son, I don't have no value in that. You showed me you don't care about that.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. We got to do more than just say it and then support those come behind us and say it.
You can't tell women that you want them to be natural, but you chase women that have weave. You can't tell men you want a good guy, but you chase men that's abusive. You can't tell, rappers that you want to hear positive music, but somebody drops something positive and they can't support their family. That's insanity. That doesn't add up. You understand? And so, one, we're a copycat society. When somebody does something and they win it, we all trying to do it as well. You dig? So the fact of the matter is, you know, you got to be able to recognize we have to have good examples for our youth and our people to copy. When Wu-Tang did what Wu-Tang did, everybody tried to do what Wu-Tang did. When so-and-so came out with this kind of song, everybody tried to come out with a song like that. When this one won with that, everybody tried to do something like that. When this one came out with the Transformers, they came out with the GoBots. When, you know what I'm saying, when they came out with Pokemon, they came out with, you know, Digimon. When they came out with Yu-Gi-Oh, they came out with, you know, like all these different things. There's always these knockoffs, because when something wins, everybody else trying to do it because they know that there's a market for it. So we can't, you know, if you're going to tell people to be positive, you have to show a market, or just shut up, because you got to stop talking. Like, stop burdening these kids with an expectation that you couldn't even live to as an adult right here and now. People don't even do it here and now. People don't even critique. Your favorite rappers got new albums out within this year or last year, and you haven't even heard them. Speaking of which, you can go to KoolKimUMC.com and pick up demo music right now. You understand what I'm saying?
Right there. You just said it. You just said it. Give him the website one more time as we get ready to get up out of here.
Right on. It's Kool Kim, capital KOOLKIM. UMC.com, and you can support by copying merch. You could download the album directly from me. You ain't got to stream it nowhere. Download it directly from me so that I get the full price for the work that I did versus having to go through a middleman. You know what I'm saying? Hip hoppers, listen, I got to dip because I have another joint to do on my word is bond. But what I do want to say is this: you know, hip hop isn't the old hip hop no more. You know what I'm saying? It's not your grandfather's hip hop. It's not your H on it hip hop historian hip hop. It's a new hip hop. It's the Sadiq hip hop. It's a hip hop that's new. Hey, so you take the fun out of messing with you, man, because you be too straight face. Told me to say like, okay, come on.
Tony said yeah.
just let me go. Like, go ahead, Kim. No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Your inbox
Hey,
is mine later on. I'm all up in your DMs later on. Like, oh no, leave me alone.
Hey, he said after the show he got you.
Sorry.
Yeah, after the show he got you.
I know he do. No, but check it out. You know, we just gotta really get serious about our culture. It's not the same thing when you used to go to the show or you waited for your late night tape, you know what I mean, your pause tapes, and you know what I mean, maybe if you was old enough at the time you could went to the Fresh Fest or the Def Jam tour. It's not like that no more, where you wrote a fan mail to an artist and sent it to a record label, not sure if you'd ever see it. And, it's not that anymore. What hip hop is a very interactive thing. You know what I mean? You could get in your favorite rapper's inbox, man. You could talk to people, talk strategy. You could get involved. If you got skill sets, man, you could actually work with an artist just on the strength of your skill sets. Like, you could have never done that years ago, man. I remember when we was first coming out, when we needed tapes to make new demos. Yo, you know what they do? They had this big box of other people's demos. They would just dip in there and punch out and grab like 10 or 12 tapes and just give us other people's dreams and hopes to record our demos over. I'm like, that's the world I come from. Like, that's how foul it is. We'd have to we would just like, nah, I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would, you know what I mean? Because it was like such a disrespect to their talent. But we come from that kind of era. You know what I'm saying? And you know, so you know, now you live in a time where you could like literally just text your favorite. Like, you could literally DM your favorite celebrity on Instagram. Yeah, and so with that kind of relationship, there's no excuse for you not to have an involvement in hip hop that is transcendent from just being a talking head, just being a critic, just being somebody that only could talk about what happened in the past. And I'm not being funny. I'm not slighting nobody. This is not no darts. I'm talking about people in general. Like, they can't never engage the music beyond that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you sound talking to somebody, like you talking to EP&D, you talking about Strictly Business, and dude just got finished dropping stuff with Dinko. I just got finished singing a single with Dinko and all like that. Yo, son's doing it. That was like that, and that's a year and a half, 2 years old too. But I'm saying, like, yo, son is doing music. So how we talking to him about what you saying? And he got new music. You know what I'm saying? And son is nice. It's not like it ain't like I lost a step. It's not like Positive K lost a step. It's not like, you know, Hakeem Green lost a step. You know, these people is putting it, you know what I mean? Rockness from boot camp, he's not losing, he's killing shit.
Above all, go to our brother's website because he hasn't lost a step. I previewed the album, and bruh, you got some fire notes on there. So you hearing it from DJ Rockwell, y'all. Brother has not lost a step. The bars are there. The beats are there. This is boom bap again. We raised the question today, family, as we get ready to close out. We don't know if we found the answer yet, but we have to do a part 2 of this conversation to keep the dialogue going. This is DJ Rockwell. That's Kool Kim. That's A-Tone. And you've been listening to and watching the Rockwell Radio Show. See y'all next week. We out of here. Salute.
Peace.
Hey.
Rockwell, well.
I'd like to know, are you really ready for some super dynamite soul?